Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be making a new mold, as well as trying some new methods, and finally achieving a part that is usable. So stay tuned. Alright, we're just going to put this on here, and then, I'm going to put the wax on here first, a few coats of wax on this whole piece, this whole mirror, and then I'll put a couple balls of the tooling wax on here so that it's kind of stable, because right now it's kind of floppy. So yeah, we'll get that, we'll put that right in the middle, but yeah, let's start with waxing first. So I've put these little balls of wax on here, not too tall. That way when I set it on the glass, you can press it flat and it'll stay still. It won't rock all over the place. So that's our next thing. Put it right there. Just press it down. And now we're just going to work some of this wax that I have here. Fillet wax. We're going to work it all around these edges. That way we get a nice smooth surface to make our mold out of. That should work pretty good. I made this because just how far this sits in, it should help the carbon transition. Instead of it just being a wall right there, where the carbon has to like come and then drop right off, it'll just kind of like be a bump. So I don't know if we'll get a bunch of bridging because of that. Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. I guess I could always try to fill it in later. But there's a couple imperfections in this piece. Let's see. Can't really see it. Yeah, you can't really tell, but there's like a couple chip marks in here all along this edge, but I think it'll be alright. It'll be something I could wet sand out of the mold. So yeah, our next step is to apply this PVA mold release. I just put it in a cup and then brush it on. It's water soluble, so I'll dilute it a little bit with water to make it a little thinner. Otherwise I get like a bunch of pinholes. Because it's for spraying and I don't have a spray gun, so make do with what I got though. So yeah, next we'll apply that. Coat 2. Now that the PVA release is all applied, we're going to create our mold. So the first thing we're going to start with is this gel coat here. We're going to mix it 2% by weight. So I'll do like 50 grams of this, roughly 1 gram of hardener, which in this case is this stuff. So let's get to mixing, and then I'll apply with a paintbrush. We'll let it dry and do a second coat. now we got this gel coat kind of cured up. We're ready to apply the first layer of fiberglass. So I'm gonna go cut those up real quick and show y'all, and then we'll be ready to apply some of this. All right, here's the layers we're gonna use in no real good order. The first one we're gonna start with is gonna be this. It's like a super thin chop strand mat. The next one's gonna be this, which is like a 6 ounce, and then this one, which is about a 13-ish, and then I'm gonna finish it off with this as like a nice smooth textured and a good finish, so it's not sharp and cutting you all the time. I'm gonna do 1 layer of this. I'm gonna try to do 2 layers of this and 2 layers of this. I have another piece here, and then just 1 layer of this at the end. This mold, I'm gonna try to put like an edge around here, so it's more stable. I'm gonna get like a piece of wood maybe, or if I can find like some foam that I can wrap the fiberglass over, just to give it like a little more rigidity, because it is a big flange, and then something to where I set it down, it's like flat, so it's not like rocking back and forth on this weird surface. So yeah, I'm gonna start with that really fine chop strand mat, and then let that cure, and then we'll move on to our next layers. Now our mold is nice and hard and cured, so we're going to attempt to demold this off the mirror, which is going to be relatively hard. I didn't really think about this before I started, but I think what I'm going to try to do is pull this tape up as best I can, and then just start it with this chisel. This might work pretty well, actually. Alright, the whole thing just kind of lifted, so pull from here. Boom. There we go. Look at that. Look how smooth that is. Oh my goodness. This is by far the best mold I've made. So, yep. I'm going to take this tape off. I use this tape because it also kind of serves as a cut line for me. And then I knew where to put, how far out to put my fiberglass. It's like obviously we made it a little bigger, but it gives me plenty of room to kind of cut around. So. Yep, I'll trim it real quick. Well, actually we could pull this out first. Here's a look at our mold. We have a little bit of problem here where it like bubbled up on me, so I might have just applied too thick of a second coat or too thick of a first coat, I'm not really sure. Or, yeah. So, that won't be too bad. We can mix up a little gel coat, squish it in there, sand it flat. But beyond that, it looks pretty good. We'll flatten that out. And then the PVA kind of left, you can see like these little marks. So we'll just flatten this. But in general, it looks pretty good. It looks way better than any of my others. So, yep. All right, everybody. Well, now it's time to start this infusion. We're going to try to make this part. I'm going to use the infusion process this time again, like we did the first time. I feel like I got a better quality part out of the infused part, and it was a little bit easier for me. I don't know. Usually it's the other way around where a wet layup's a little easier, but we're going to try an infusion again because I want to get good at that anyway, so practice makes perfect. Yeah, so let's show you this mold. Alright, this is how the mold turned out. There's a couple imperfections still. We got these little divots, but they go down. So I think we're going to be able to, you'll have a little extra resin. I don't think it's enough to mess with like the weave of the fabric or the carbon. So it'll just be something we knock down with a little bit of wet sanding afterwards. But yeah, this one turned out much better than our last two. This is the evolution of our mold. This is the first one we made. Sturdy, tiny, small flanges, which didn't work out too well, and no taper off here. So this was really hard to get nice and, a good layup in here, because it has a huge lip, so everything just kind of, the first layer went down really nice, and then everything else just built up and bridged real hard. So at our second iteration, we made a bigger flange. I used just basically the backside. Used this backside mold, which was off of this one originally, and then just added a larger flange, because I know I needed a bigger flange, and then we added this this little tapered down piece, so it would help with the bridging in this area. And then we obviously had some problems with it sticking around here. Everything got stuck in the corners, and it was really hard to sand out. So we moved on to this one, and that is our evolution thus far. This one looks much better than either of the previous ones. So yeah, with that, let's get some of this carbon out of here and start cutting it up. See what we got. Alright, we're back. I got the mold release a couple days ago, and we're about ready to try it out. So let me show you what we got going on here. These are the products that I ordered that are hopefully going to solve all of our problems. So this one is a sealer, so you can see there. So you'll apply this first, just one coat of this from what I understand, and then you apply this, which is going to be 5 coats, 5 to 10 minutes apart. And the cure time between these two is like 5 or 10 minutes. So we'll apply this, seal our mold, we'll apply this, and then as soon as this is done, we're ready to start a layup again, which you guys have seen, a few times at this point. So, yep, let's give it a shot. All right, so next we're gonna prep our resin for use. This is our hardener. It's a 1.25% by weight mixture. It's really hard to measure if you have a terrible scale, which I do. So it'll probably be a pretty hot batch. It means it'll just cure much faster than it's supposed to. All right, so now we're ready for infusion. We have our resin mixed. Going to try to lay it down as best I can. Top it up on this. It should be pretty much okay. And then we're going to infuse it. We've let this sit for about a half hour. Haven't lost any vacuum, so I think we're going to be good on this infusion. So yeah, just going to hook this resin up to our hose. Use this to secure the hose in there, and then we'll turn our pump on, and then you'll see the magic, which is what everybody really wants to see, if we're being honest, I guess. So there's our hopefully not botched infusion, since we have a bunch of air in here now. Yeah, that might have gone poorly. So what happened was, when I was clamping this, the clamp didn't close off all the way, and then this tube lifted out of the air, or out of the resin, and just sucked in air straight away. So it went straight over everything. But yeah, hopefully that doesn't prove to be fatal, I guess, to this part, but we will see. Only time will tell at this point. So now it's just a waiting game, and we'll see when we come back what it looks like. I have already cut off all the tubes. We got our clamps on, and this is pretty good and well cured. So we're going to start taking it off. Let's see how this looks. Hopefully it looks good after that weird air infusion that we got. So yeah, hopefully it's okay. Let's find out. Peel up our peel fly. Our part is already pretty loose in here. So start here and you can see, look at that. Oh my goodness. It popped right out. It is perfect. Yeah, so I'd say that our new release film worked pretty well. So we did end up with some air bubbles. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see, but yeah, in this area, it's pretty bad. I guess it's all along this piece, so I think our infusion might have been a little too quick. Yeah, so we gotta work on that, but the release film works now. This mold is, all I did was wipe it off, so it's like perfect. So our new release film works, which is good. All right, so future me back once again with some updates. So you saw in that last clip that we had some problems with pinholes and the part wasn't like glossy like you would expect it to come out of a part looking like. So since then I've made a couple of changes and I would like to show you real quick. All right, first things first, you have to see how many of these things I've made. Yep, it's quite ridiculous. Quite ridiculous. So yeah, just be prepared to make some mistakes and learn from them. In the line of orders, as far as things happened, this is what you just watched. So yeah, you can see that a lot more things have happened. The only reason this is glossy compared to how it was in that video is I top coated them like this. And then I sanded it down and polished it so it looks right. But it definitely didn't come out of the mold like that. It came out more like this. Just not good. So this is the latest one I've done. Wow, that one's the latest one I've done. But up until I switched what I was doing, this is what everything has looked like. Pinholey and nasty, and they came out with like a sticky layer on them. And I ended up finding out that the sticky layer is from our glue. I was using this one. I've tried this one, and then I bought these two to try out as well. This one will give me, well, really, all three of these will give me really bad, like, sticky layer. And this one won't give me a sticky layer on, like, my finished product, but it'll still leave pinholes. It's like this one just got this FiberTac MT1. And it's not sticky, but it has a lot of pinholes. So what I did here, and now this one, if I can get you out, and you can see how much better this one is. It's actually damn near perfect. And the only thing I switched between these two was using a different resin. So from here back, all of these are polyester resin, and I was having problems with it not getting past the glue, I guess, and creating all this porosity. And then as soon as I switched to epoxy, everything is just better. So I think that's my future resin is just going to be epoxy from now on. But you can see, like, there's no pinholes in this compared to like this one where there's pinholes everywhere. Yeah. So there's spots where my mold needs some work, like these bumps, all these crazy scratches that you see. Those are straight out of the mold. So I haven't even sanded this, but you can see, well, I guess you can't see, but all these scratches come out of the mold. So what else really helped was switching from this to a sealer and a different mold release. And like you saw in the video, those just pop right out now. And then this glue. So I have yet to try any of these other glues with the epoxy, but I know for sure this one works with my epoxy resin. So yeah, that's a lot of parts. So just don't get disheartened, you know. This yeah. So yeah, I think that the fix for me was switching from the polyester resin to the epoxy resin, and then that gave me this result, which is you know, pretty sweet. So yeah, just keep at it. I think combination of switching the sealer and the mold release and then the epoxy really helped my situation. So there'll still be a video coming soon-ish for me actually making the back part of this, and then making like a full part, because obviously all we've done is make the fronts so far, so you can't really do anything if you can't put it on the car, so it's kind of pointless. So all these bad boys are, you know, pointless, trial and error. These are probably trash. Yeah, so yeah, well, I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Yeah, and I'll see you guys on the next one.